Hi everyone, this is Jade and welcome back to Be Colorful. Today we start using the Tonic Craft Kit 51, a kit with delicate pastel colors, very spring, which allows us to create beautiful frames with an intricate and floral design. Specifically in this video I'll show you 6 ways to use intricate background dyes, like the ones included in the kit. So even if you don't have these dyes, you can reproduce these 6 ideas to make the most of these similar dyes. I'll split the video into 2 parts, otherwise it would have been out at least 1 hour long. You will find the link to the second video below in the description box and at the end of this video, obviously after I post it. For the first card, I'll perform a technique whose effect I really love, the stained glass. Then, on the pearlescent teal cardstock, I'm going to cut out the frame, along with the die that cut out the scalloped edges. However, I'll change my mind and won't use the teal frame. With intricate die, you don't always get a complete die cut, as you can see. Some parts have not been cut. To avoid this problem, it is necessary to increase the thickness of our sandwich. In this way, you can increase the pressure on the die. In this case, I'm going to add just a piece of paper. It's important to proceed by trial, until you find the right thickness, without forcing the die cutter machine too much. Well, I can say that the intricate pattern has now been die cut all over. I'm going to remove the little pieces. This is the tedious part of using the intricate dies. I'm also going to remove the small pieces stuck in the die with the help of this tool, which includes a rotating brush with stiff bristles and a foam mat. And I end up with a pick tool. And this is the gorgeous frame. Now, leaving the 2 dies together, I'm going to create 2 more frames on white 300 GSM cardstock. Since the removal of little pieces of paper was becoming quite stressful, I thought I'd speed up a little bit more by applying masking tape on the back of the frame. I pull off the masking tape. It feels like depilation, and I must say that it is a faster solution, at least a little. I'm using masking tapes for wall painting, which have a slightly stronger adhesive than the purple masking tape I usually use. Next, I'm going to prepare the card base on some acetate. I'm going to use this one from Tonic Studios Craft Perfect, as it is nice and thick, perfect for a basic structure. I make a fold line, and I cut out the acetate, taking the size of the frames as a reference. This acetate has a protective film, so I remove it and glue the first white frame on the front of my clear card base. To apply the glue faster, I'm going to use a sponge. In this way, I also avoid applying too much glue and dirtying all the acetate when I go to press the frame on it. And now let's move on to the fun and colorful part. To create a stained glass effect, I proceed with coloring the acetate using my alcohol markers. I choose the darker ones I have because if you color in the acetate with alcohol markers, they tend to be more subtle than when you use them on normal cardstock. Don't worry if you color the paper too, it will be covered by the second white frame. Once the coloring is finished, I'm going to glue the second white frame, aligning it well. Look how beautiful is the effect. But the touch of glass is missing. In fact, to obtain a fantastic glass mosaic effect, even more shiny, you can fill the spaces of the design with a glossy accent. However, I'd like to use the Nuvo Gel Drop, which, in addition to being translucent and shiny, are also pigmented. I chose the right color for each element of the design based on the markers I used. A pink gel drop for the roses, red for the large flowers, yellow for the yellow details, for the leaves I'm using a glitter drop because I don't have a green gel drop. The glitter drops always have a translucent base, but in addition they have glitter. In this case the base is slightly green with green glitter. In the background portions where I used a petrol green marker, I'm going to apply an aqua green gel drop. And the most satisfying part of this technique is finished. Here is the moment when I'm no longer sure I want to use the aqua frame as the top frame. In fact, I'll opt for a white frame because, in my opinion, the delicate colors of the mosaic glass will stand out better. Unfortunately, I had separated the two dies, but I needed the new frame to be identical to the previous frames. So, with the help of the aqua frame, I joined the two dies again. You realize that the dies and the die cut are perfectly aligned because when they fit together, the die does not make any more movement. After gluing the top frame, which covers all the smudges of the Nuvo drops, let's move on to the sentiment, for which I'm gonna use the die of the kit together with its coordinated die that cut out the edges. I'm using the pearlescent aqua cardstock included in the kit. I think the white background doesn't really bring out the sentiment. Let's see. Between the papers in the kit, I choose the one I like best for this card. I really think I'm gonna use the pearlescent grey one included in the paper pad. Finally, I glue everything on the card base. In order to write our personal message, it is necessary to glue a cardstock panel inside the card. And one on the back as well, so as to cover the horrible trace of the glue that can be seen through the acetate. And this gorgeous card is finished. This card will be very simple and elegant, made special by the beautiful and elaborate design of the intricate die. This type of die is perfect for creating a see-through card that are cards in which you can see the inside of the card. Unlike the first card, in which the glass mosaic creates a C not C effect, in this card the inside will be completely visible. It's definitely a perfect type of card for wedding invitations. In the meantime, as you have seen, I created the card base on ivory cardstock included in the kit. To create a see-through card, you need to die cut the card base itself. Then I position the intricate die along with its coordinated die that cut out the scalloped edges, which I left joined from the previous card, and also the sentiment die. But obviously I want the two sides of the card base to remain together, so I make a partial die cut, arranging the upper plate so that it doesn't include the upper side of the dies. That part, in fact, will not be die cut, more or less. I am also going to die cut the back of the card base using only the die with the scalloped edges and positioning it, leaving the top edge beyond the fold line. And as before, the top plate is positioned so that it doesn't touch the top edge of the die. On the front of my card, I'm gonna glue the aqua green frame that I discarded in the first card. However, everything seems unstable for me, as the paper I used for the card base is much thinner than the cardstock I usually use. So I join the three dies again and create another frame. I glue the white frame on the card base. Finally, I also die cut the sentiment on the aqua frame. I glue it to the card base, aligning it well. And I finish the card by creating drops of cream vintage drop around the sentiment. Now we're gonna create a gatefold card. In fact, this type of dies can be divided in half to decorate the two flaps. I am going to prepare the card base on the bubblegum pink cardstock included in the kit. I cut out a 8.5 by 5.5 inches panel and I draw a fold line at 2 and 1/8. I rotate the panel and I gonna draw a second fold line always at 2 and 1/8. And we get a gatefold card in standard size, that's 4.25 by 5.5 inches. Once this is done, I'm going to die cut the frame onto the iridescent cardstock included in the paper pad we found in the kit. And look! So lucky! All the pieces of paper are left in the roses at the bottom. Well, I'd say that I'm gonna take advantage of it, since I really like the effect of paper piecing, but it takes a long time to do. I add the missing pieces. I remove the pieces that are not needed and secure everything well with double-sided tape adhesive. After that, I'm going to cut out the frame, leaving just a little edge. And I divide it in half. Then I'm going to die cut the rectangle using the scalloped die included in the kit. Same thing in the card base, creating a beautiful window that shows part of the inside of the card. I glue the decorative frame on the top of the flaps. And I move on to the sentiment, die cutting on the classic ivory card, the scalloped rectangle, and I place the rectangle on the stamping platform. The tape runner adhesive that I'm using is low tack, so easy to remove. I also fix the other part of the cardstock where I die cut the rectangle, creating a guide or a mask, and in a moment you will understand why. I place the floral corner stamp included in the kit, and I stamp with my clear Versamark ink. I rotate the internal panel and stamp again in the opposite corner. I needed the mask for this technique. In fact, it allowed me to stamp in another corner without moving the stamp and getting the second stamp in the same precise position. Now I do the heat embossing with pearlescent ivory embossing powder. To then also stamp one of the sentiment included in the kit, embossing it with a teal powder. I decided to color the floral stamp using both aqua crackle mousse and pink mica mist, both included in the kit. I'm going to dilute the crackle mousse with water, obtaining a watercolor effect. For the green of the leaves, I'm going to mix the crackle mousse with a yellow ink. In this case, I'm using a Distress Oxide ink. But you can also use other mediums, like watercolor themselves, if you have those. Very, very cute and delicate. I like it. I glue the panel inside the card, aligning it well with the window. Ok, all that's missing is the gatefold card belly band. And I create it by simply cutting a strip of this beautiful aqua green embossed paper included in the kit. I'm going to fold the two ends by wrapping the paper around the card without tightening too much, otherwise it will be difficult to insert and remove the band. I apply the glue and I finish the card with a few drops of aqua green vintage drop included in the kit. And the first part of this video ends here. Thank you for joining with me, and I remind you to give me a thumbs up if you liked the video, or even a comment. These are small things that support the work of your YouTubers. I wait you at the second part of the video, where we will see 3 other ways to use the intricate dies for background. Thanks again. Bye bye and be colorful.